Today, I thought I'd take a little break from reviewing to do the book shopping book tag. Hey there, I'm Jessica, and this is Bookshelf to Big Screen. I came across this tag in one of the BookTube community groups that I'm in when I saw the post from fellow booktuber Hugo from Scientist Reading World. I hadn't really thought about my book buying preferences until I saw this, so I thought it'd be fun to share my preferences with you guys. So let's get into it. How do you buy books? Physically because you believe in the power of touch, or online because interactions are overrated? I think it's a little bit of both. And right now, it's entirely online because of the pandemic. But I do love shopping in bookstores and I really miss it. Not so much the power of touch, but I love the smell of books. That might be weird, but that's really one of the things I love about going to a bookstore. Of course, right now I'm buying primarily online and using digital copies from my library because that's the world we live in right now. Do you prefer bigger bookshops or smaller ones? I think I like them both. I really like the intimacy of a smaller bookshop because I think you get more personal attention, maybe. In my experience with smaller bookstores, you have an opportunity to kind of chat with the people that work there or the owners. And that's something that I really enjoy because a lot of times those people can give you insight or recommend something that you didn't know you were looking for that you end up absolutely loving. And then the upside to bigger bookshops is that there's a lot of diversity in what you can find. And one thing I kind of like about the big box bookstores is that there's like a little toys and game section. So my kids, enjoy that and like they're excited to go to a bookstore because of that. But then I also get them to look at books and we get something there too. Do you prefer to buy books when they are brand new, being the first to touch them, it being in pristine condition, or do you prefer used ones, the book having character, history, and personality? I think my preference here is definitely used books. I don't know why I really enjoy buying books secondhand. I kind of really like it when a book has some character, it's a little worn and I feel like it's lived a little. I can't explain why I like that, but I really do. There are some cases where I like it brand new, and that would just be in the sense that the book has been mistreated. I don't like it when pages are dog-eared. Books that are written in, I don't like that. So in those cases, I would prefer a brand new book. Are you a coupon TLC level crazy person or a full price Sweet 16 MTV? So I take this question to mean, do I like a bargain or am I only paying full price? I mean, who doesn't like a bargain? That's probably a draw to buying secondhand. You get deeply discounted rates, either local bookshops or places like Half Price Books where they'll have deals, like if you buy so many, you get one free, things like that, which, I mean, I think you're crazy not to take advantage of. Having said that, if there's a book that I really want and it's not on sale, I'm not gonna not get it just because of that. I will pay full price. I don't mind paying full price. I'm just not gonna buy a ton of books at full price because it hurts my pocketbook. Read, research, analyze, Sherlock Holmes-style, or impulse buyer like a shopaholic. I'm like maybe somewhere in the middle. I definitely keep a list of books that I want to read, but I wouldn't say that I research them like crazy. I kind of just read the synopsis or go based on recommendations from people whose likes are similar to mine, but I don't know like an extensive history of the book, I guess. But definitely have a to be read list. So I'll go into a bookstore or website with that in mind, kind of looking for those first. If I'm shopping in a store, I definitely browse and have been known to impulse buy based on the cover, or it's an author that I like, or the synopsis on or the synopsis on the back of the book seems interesting, and I wasn't intending to buy that day. So kind of in the middle. A book or two at a time, or full cart pandemic style till the mailman dies. Okay, so at the beginning of the pandemic, yes, I loaded my online shopping cart and bought enough books that they sent them in 3 different shipments. But typically, I do not shop like that. I'll maybe pick up a couple of books for myself and maybe a couple for my kids. Right now, I'm primarily checking digital copies out of the library. So I also don't check out as many as I can, just because I'm only going to check out what I can actually read in the time that I have them. New and recent releases or older classics. I kind of do both. I wouldn't say that I'm like right as soon as a book releases, I get it, because I typically don't. There's been a handful that I do, but I typically don't. I try to make myself read 1 or 2 classics every year. And by classics, I mean more than 20 or 30 years old. It also takes me a while to read, so I try and do a mix of stuff that's a little more current, but I'm usually several months to a couple of years behind the trends. I'm okay with that. Are you a pre-order total fan freak, or wait until it arrives at the bookshop because it can wait? I'm pretty sure the only time I've ever pre-ordered a book was, I believe, the last 2 books in the Harry Potter series. There haven't been any others that I was just dying to get my hands on that I couldn't wait. Do you prefer special, expensive, beautiful covers, colored edges, and unique editions? Or is the inside of the book all that counts? There's a few special editions in my collection. I believe the only cases of this were books that were released that had special illustrations, things like that. I'm not going out of my way to buy special editions. I have come across some great finds in thrifting or secondhand stores, but it's not something I'm going out of my way to find, and I'm definitely not like a rare books collector or anything like that. I just buy my favorites if it's special to me, things like that. Picture your favorite book. Do you show your love by buying multiple copies, or do you believe in one true love? There are a couple of books that I have multiple copies. Off the bat, I can think of the Dark Tower series. I bought duplicates of some of the books because I found in a secondhand store an edition that had some really cool illustrations. And so those I have multiple copies of a few of the books. I don't believe the whole series. That's also true for a couple of the books in the Harry Potter series, because the edition changed and they remade an illustrated version later, so I got a couple of those for my kids. I have bought a couple other copies of Neil Gaiman books and maybe Hitchhiker's Guide, I want to say. There's definitely doubles in my collections, and it was probably due to a cool older edition or a variant cover that I liked. So yeah, primarily because the edition was different and that different edition had something that I felt I needed to have. Name your favorite places to shop for books. So, where I live now, there was a really great local independent bookstore. Unfortunately, it went out of business a couple of years ago, which is a real bummer. I'm partial to independent bookstores. I'm pretty new to the area that I live in now, in the Dallas area. So I haven't found, other than the local bookshop that was in my neighborhood that went out of business, I haven't gotten a chance to get out and see more, and especially now with the pandemic. I do know of a couple in my hometown, El Paso. There's Brave Books, which is a really great small independent bookstore. I recommend them. And Literarity, two really great independent bookstores in El Paso, Texas. If you're ever in the area, check them out. Right now, I'm just supporting my local library because I can't get out and shop, and doing a little shopping online because I'm doing my best to just stay home. The last item is to tag people, but I really feel like just do it if you like it. It's a fun tag. I think it's interesting to think about what your shopping habits are, especially when it comes to buying books. I know for me personally, a lot has changed with the pandemic, and I'm doing more shopping online, but I'm still trying to find ways to support my local bookshops. And you can usually do that even if they don't have an online storefront set up. You can usually reach out to them on social media. I've done this, and ask them if they have the book you're looking for, and they can usually arrange for shipping. I think it's important to keep those local booksellers alive because they share our love for books. So there you have it. Those are my answers for the book shopping book tag. Thanks again, Hugo from Scientist Reading World, for these questions. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click like and be sure to click subscribe to see my next video. Thanks for watching.